Hello and welcome viewers to 263 Chat Talk, the space to talk about our Zimbabwe. My name is Sylvia Changachiwere, and today in the studio we're graced by the Wabantu Movement representatives. And on my right we have Kudzimoyo, the spokesperson of the movement, and on my left we have the chairperson of the economic cluster, Elvis Nzembe. Join us as we unpack the Wabantu Movement. Can you kindly please tell us who and Wabantu Movement is?
Okay, thank you very much. Movement Wabantu is a movement that came to be after the youths, mainly from this country, realized the need for the young people to probably take a forefront in initiating a program whereby we renew and redo things for this country. You notice that, like as a nation, we are going through a very difficult time, and it's time where the youth need to come up together and probably foster for change, for renewal in this country. This is how we then came to be as a group of young people. It's mainly it was mainly formed by young people, but it's all-encompassing, it's all-inclusive. It's not necessarily a youth movement. It's all-encompassing. Yeah.
Would you kindly tell us who the brains behind the Wabantu Movement is?
Okay, thank you very much. The brains behind this is the youths. As the youth, we stand up to defend the standards of our lives. We stand up to defend the lives of our stakeholders, because we are the one who are responsible for that. As my colleague said, that the generation, it's a generational thing that is driven by the youth to defend what depends to defend what is good for the youth. For instance, like now we have high unemployment, people are not working. We are there to defend the employment. We are there to defend democracy. We are there to defend the living conditions to those who are victimized. So that's all about what is the brains behind this, is the youth. We as the youth, we are behind this movement.
Speaking about pushing the unemployment and everything, why are you pushing that agenda?
We are pushing that agenda because it is the one of the economic problems that have caused more troubles to our economy as a Zimbabwe. The economic instability that is there is because of unemployment. I can say like this, in Zimbabwe I believe that we have three problems, economic problems. Number one, it is that we are not producing. If we are not producing, it means that our companies will close. If we are not producing, it means that we are going to depend on imports. If we are not producing, it means that our currency will be weak. That's why our currency is not working. So if the youth are desperate, the only way is that they can influence by someone. They can influence in any unethical behavior. So that's why we are behind this agenda. We are behind this movement.
Okay.
In addition to that, I think it is also important for us to actually appreciate the fact that as we go through this economic catastrophe, the most people that are affected are the young people. You understand? We are the ones who are not employed. We are the ones who are mostly affected by whatever is going on in this country. So I think it's time when the young people need to stand up for themselves. You will also notice that the majority of the ruling elites, when they took up arms, they were young, just like us. Some of them were even in their teens. So we found it necessary to actually stand up for our own rights, because we are the future of this country. We can no longer afford to just stand and watch and complain while we are at home. There is need for us to participate in politics. There is need for us to participate in the economy. There is need for us to participate in everything that has to do with this country, because it's our country after all.
Okay, given there's all the brains behind, the youth behind, there are rumors that are saying that Xavier Kasukwere as the leader is leading this youth movement. How far true is that?
Well, we have also read about it, but it's not true. like I said, the movement is made up of, it's a group of young people who came from different political organizations, from churches, from wherever. But we came together, we sat down and agreed that there is need for us to take a stand, there is need for us to take a position and actually participate in trying to bring about change in this country. After consultations and deliberations, we found it necessary to probably invite one of the former ministers of this country, whom in all fairness is one of the best young ministers to ever grace our political arena, that is Xavier Kasukuwere. So he does not lead the movement, but we invited him to come back to Zimbabwe to take back his political position in the sense that we want him to contest the next coming elections. He has not yet confirmed his participation, but we've invited him. We still wait for him to respond to our invitation. But I can safely say the movement was formed by young people who are all in agreement that Tyson Kasukuwere, Xavier Kasukuwere, aka Tyson, is the best candidate to take this nation forward.
Correct me.
I want to correct you. Let's go.
Okay. In retrospect of what you were saying about Xavier Kasukuwere, there are rumors and a lot of things that led him to go outside since he was the Minister of Local Governance. I want to hear, did you guys do a background check to actually invite him to be the head of your movement?
Okay. I'm happy that you have mentioned that there are rumors. Yes, they are rumors and they remain rumors until they've been proven to be a fact. What we know about Xavier Kasukuwere is that he was a minister for youth. At some point he was a minister for local government at some point as well. We have worked with him for some time. We don't necessarily need to go through a process, what I can term background check. He came after 2017. We are all aware that they ran away from this country because of political persecution. After the so-called new dispensation, of all those that ran away from this country, Xavier Kasukuwere came back. He actually came back twice. And he was briefly arrested, and some of those allegations that you are referring to, he actually stood in court for that. And it's on record that he was acquitted twice of those rumors that you have actually alluded to. So as it is now, Kasukuwere is a free man. His only problem, I believe, is with the current new dispensation that seeks to persecute him on political lines. It has nothing to do with the said corruption or whatever, but it's simply political persecution by those that are in power.
Okay. Given that we've seen that the movement is rising and is on the rise in the country, do you see that the movement is different from a political party?
Okay, I'll take that one. Well, there's been a lot of misconception with regards to the movement Wabantu. Movement Wabantu is not a political party. Movement Wabantu, it's a grouping of people who are going through a process of self-discovery. I would say we are a movement that seeks to bring people together. That's the first most important thing. We want people to be unified for one specific reason, that is to drive national development. Because this nation will not be able to rise under this current polarization. This nation will not be able to rise when people are divided. So we are bringing people together, and I would want you to know that we actually have some members from political parties like the MTC. We have people from APA, we have people from Zanu-PF, NPF. We are all in campus. We have people from churches, students, war veterans. We have people coming from all other stakeholders. So we are not a political party. We are a movement that seeks to bring people together. We don't just intend to bring people together. We also intend to come up with programs that will foster for change. Because one thing for most that we need to agree, whether you are you come from party A, party B, or party C, is Zimbabwe needs to be renewed. Zimbabwe needs change. We need to start afresh. We need to go back to constitutionalism. We need to go back to rule of law. We need to go back to respect of human rights. So all those things can only be done when we are united, and we want to bring people together so that we can move in the same direction.
Okay, given that the movement is going forward, what do you seek to achieve in this movement?
Okay, thank you very much. As the movement, the Wabantu Movement, what we seek to achieve is a happy Zimbabwean. We want Zimbabweans to be happy. We want Zimbabweans to be liberated from the jaws of poverty. As I mentioned before, that most Zimbabweans, all of us, we are suffering from the current economic situation. So what we want is to make sure that every Zimbabwean is happy. We want to provide the economic fundamentals that benefit all ages. Even you are the youth, either you are the youth or you are the elderly, you must benefit from that, not only the political allies. That's what we want. So as I mentioned before, that in Zimbabwe, we have an ineffective rule of law that is one-sided. We want Zimbabweans to exercise their democratic rights. We want Zimbabweans to enjoy their rights, the rights to protest, the rights to show what is affecting them. For instance, in Zimbabwe, we say that if a group of people gathered and go to the Ministry of Finance or the government protesting, they will be called enemies. So we want a free Zimbabwean, all Zimbabweans to be happy with the Wabantu movement.
All right, as a follow-up to the question, I want to know what is your current view towards the current leadership that we have right now in Zimbabwe?
Well, I think the current economic situation of this country is a reflection of the leadership that we have at the moment. I think it's very unfortunate that as Zimbabweans we were sold a dummy, and we were made to believe that there is something that is new or something that is great that was going to happen after November 2017. It is very unfortunate that we find ourselves in this situation, in a situation that we all ignorantly supported. There is nothing new from this group of leaders. In fact, I've always dreamt of a situation whereby now that we have had 2.5 years with the current leadership, without Mugabe, I would have wanted a situation whereby God grants us at least a day with Mugabe, subtract this current group of people. Because a lot of things that have been attributed to the old dispensation, I think you would want you can actually see that most of them, the perpetrators are the ones that are in power now. People used to complain about the police brutality, etc., etc. But soon after Mugabe left, things have gone worse. I mean, people are being killed in broad light. So this is the current new administration that we have. In terms of the economy, I personally do not, I've actually never had any belief that anything will change, will have any tangible change under the leadership of Emerson Mnangagwa, because it's the same old baggage. You understand? It's the same group of people who are driven by corruption. It's the same group of people who are driven by selfish reasons. It's the same group of people who are driven by the entitlement. You know, they believe that because they took part in the liberation of this country, they now own the country, which is very unfortunate. And this is the reason why, as young people, we are saying we need to put an end to this madness. We need to put an end to this sense of entitlement, so that at least we can manage to unlock the economy, so that this country moves forward. So there is nothing to speak about. I mean, there is nothing to talk about in as far as this new dispensation is concerned. We have actually seen more of policy inconsistency. We have actually seen more of and literal decisions from the executive. We've seen the executives getting themselves involved in the judicial issues. So really, it's very unfortunate that if only the people had known, they would not have taken part in that the madness on the 17th. yeah, pachishona tinoti anzi kupemberera nganga nenobata mai. This is exactly what we did. It's very unfortunate, but it's a situation that we find ourselves in. We cannot continue to cry. All we need to do is to come up together and come up with a proper plan that can get us out of this madness.
All right, given that the movement has got the different people from different political parties, I want to know how the following has been since the people got to know about the movement.
Well, the movement, when we started, we did not really think that people were going to accept us to this extent. The response has been overwhelming. You go down there, people are talking about the movement. You go people are talking about the movement. Actually, people are waiting for action, and we will soon be unveiling that to the people. So, well, we were happy with the response. We will soon show the people that when we say we have people behind the movement, what we mean, we'll have them, the physical people, for you to see, so that probably this misconception that we are just a social media movement can be put to rest. So yes, we do have a huge following. We have structures all over the country right now. So yeah, it's become a very big movement.
Okay, since you're talking about that you're going to be unveiling a lot of people that are going to show about the movement, in Zim there's either Zanu-PF or MDC. Where do you guys place yourselves between those two political parties?
Well, like I mentioned before, we are not a political party, so we can't really be put at the same level with the political parties, because political parties, they have what they call members and they have numbers. We are taking people both from the same parties that you've mentioned as being big. I don't know about that, because you will know that the 2008 elections they were disputed, and there are still disputes over them. So to know who exactly has many people in Zimbabwe, it's very tricky. But I would say the movement stands to prove to the majority of Zimbabweans that we are the big guys in town, because we have everyone from the churches to political parties to wherever. The guys from Parengi Mawinti, we also have them. So it is Takakura.
We have heard of different movements besides ENU. How do you place yourself as a different movement from those movements?
Well, I think I've heard about Ajamuka. I've heard about this flag. The difference probably is the ideology and the objectives. What did Tajamuka seek to achieve? What did this flag seek to achieve? I think that is the most important question, because I would say both you and me, we don't know what is wanted to achieve. Maybe they've actually achieved what they were trying to do. Maybe they failed. Maybe it was for personal gains. We don't know. But the difference now is we have an agenda to move the nation forward. We have an agenda for national building. We have an agenda to actually bring people together, so that we work together to rescue this nation from this current socio-economic and political catastrophe. So this is where we differ. Some majored on protest over other things, you know. So I wouldn't really want to put ourselves at par with them, because unfortunately I do not know what they truly represented. You get it? I know what the movement want to represent. I don't know what Tajamuka represented and what this flag represented. So it's either they achieved what they wanted to achieve, or they failed. The reasons why that happens, we don't know. But the movement, the Tyson Wabantu movement, does not intend to end on doing some protests or well, going to courts and probably singing and toy-toying, that's not our thing. It's just we want to focus on the country's social, economic, political situation. This is where we are more focused on.
Okay, thank you very much, Kodzi and Elvis, for this discussion. Hope you all viewers get to hear what the Wabantu movement really is and get to follow them.
Well, thank you for having us. I hope you will be joining Wabantu soon.
Definitely.
Also part of
definitely.
people that need to